how Zoe Quinn has borderline personality disorder and like all the evidence of it.
That's every woman, though.
Yeah, it's a borderline personality disorder, also known as being a Wombian. But specifically, they point out, they say Zoe has personality disorder. If you're not familiar with the illness, count yourself lucky, as it means you've never been in a relationship with one, but you date one, and assuming you're not so weak you kill yourself afterwards, you become an expert. This is important to understand in dealing with these people because a ton of people involved in the feminist and SJW cliques exhibit some symptoms of borderline, and it explains pretty much all of their behavior. Borderline suffered some event or of violation or abandonment as a child and stopped emotionally developing at that age. They can be extremely intelligent, but their emotional development is on par with a toddler. They have tantrums and do crazy things for attention. They see the world in purely in black and white. Everyone and everything is all bad or all good. This makes them especially susceptible to cults. It also makes their reasoning quite shallow, of course. Fucking childish and shallow, but especially like, shallow to the point of not being able to comprehend, any sense of nuance or subtlety or, gray area, that kind of shit. But, anyways, that was just my addition. The post goes on to say, they believe they're worthless and no one could ever love them. They may describe themselves as broken, empty, fucked up, damaged, or hollow. Zoe describes herself frequently to friends as fucked up. This results in impulsive behavior and tendency to binge on food, drugs, alcohol, sex, or shopping. We know Zoe binges on food, sex, and alcohol, no proof of the others. They fake suicide attempts and self-harm for attention. This can be seen in Zoe's arm tattoo, which she got to cover up cutting scars. There's no real intent on suicide. This is purely done for attention. That's when I just stopped reading this entirely and just took the fucking screen cap and posted immediately to our board and said, does this sound like anyone else?
Who
It
needs to
sounds
read
aside,
anymore?
yeah, aside from every fucking Wombian alive these days, and every, especially for feminist and sedu, there's, this especially sounds like a few that our blog may have posted about on occasion. But anyways, the post goes on saying the emptiness combined with shame over actions they've committed as a result of the impulsiveness leaves them with no sense of identity, causing them to frequently change their name, hair color, clothing style. Chelsea Lockie Zoe. Her real name is Chelsea Van Valkenburg, by the way, which is supposedly considered doxing to even say that. But Zoe
Even
Quinn
though
is,
it's just her real name.
yeah, it's just her real name. Zoe Quinn is not her real name. Fucking Chelsea Van Valkenburg is her real name. But yeah, again, that's yeah part of fucking.
Great
I
example
guess
of how doxing is good. Doxing is right.
it's yeah.
Doxing
If
works.
it works. They have lots of promiscuous sex with many partners. That might not be.
That's like the entire fucking
Yes,
gender.
exactly. The female gender. The thing is, yeah, I wouldn't even consider that to be part of borderline personality disorder. I think that's just more of a symptom of the whole fake, like the feminist delusion that being sexually liberated means getting your hole plugged with tons of cum.
Did you get your hole wet?
We both had things to do. Um, they have promiscuous sex, blah blah. Blah. With many partners, then find one weak partner to have a serious relationship. However, like everything else in their life, they can't stay serious for longer than 3 months, as idealization shifts to devaluation. Sometimes it can last longer than 3 months, but yeah, it will last about 6 months to a year, I'd say, at longest. Um, and maybe they'll fucking really stretch it out for 2 months, 2 years if they're desperate, maybe three. But yeah, it never really lasts longer than that, which is what is going to happen to Kate Leth, and when it does, I will laugh at her expense. But anyways, yeah, as idealization shifts to devaluation, and they go out of their way to destroy their partner for perceived slights. Again, that's just average female behavior. As soon as
Yeah,
the
you're
fucking
describing like 99.99% of all women ever.
it's part of hypergamy, isn't it? As soon as the man is like, "Wow, I love you and I have genuine affection towards you," it shuts off their cunt slime like a light switch, and all of a sudden the female arousal is biologically shut off. It's part of their actual biology of Wambian.
Their broken pussied biology.
You're broken cunt. Is yeah, every fucking when you tell a woman I love you and you actually legitimately mean it, they fucking like there's been biological studies that show that women become less aroused by that man for the rest of their lives when a man shows that he actually has affection for her. Moving on from that fact is the idealization, they destroy their partner for perceived slights and failure to pass. Yeah, again, perceived slights. How does that not describe every woman? And failure to pass their constant tests to prove their love. Again, shit tests.
Yes.
That is not borderline
tests.
Yeah, that is not borderline personality disorder. That is female behavior, and it's well documented. Just look up shit tests. You'll learn all about it. Even if you're a woman, you can learn your own behavior. Isn't that interesting? And failure to pass their constant test to prove their love. This can include faked pregnancies, demand for marriage or gifts, and expecting them to excuse numerous instances of infidelity. Again, shit test. Those are some extreme. Some of those are kind of extreme
Expecting to
examples.
forgive fucking infidelity. That's something that women will literally murder a man for. Fucking make false rape claims, all that shit.
That's what Chicago was about. She was fucking a guy, and the guy was like, "Hey, baby, let's fuck some more. How about we get married or something?" And she's like, "Whoa, married? I'm already married, you creeper!" And so she shoots him to death, and then tells the media that the guy raped her. And then the media's like, "Oh, this brave Wambian, she protected herself from rape." And she's like, "Yes, I am a hero. It's true." And her husband, Mr. Cellophane, is just a cuck. But you feel bad for him, unlike most cucks or fucking pieces of garbage, shit ass faggots.
Well, he doesn't enjoy being treated as
Yeah,
a cock.
he's sort of like a loser who has no choice. But
That's all. Yeah, a lot of guys back then in that era.
or just a lot of men, period, who are
Did
not either
she just? Wait, hold on.
alpha
Did she
cunt
just?
rippers.
Did she just realistically pet the dog? Yeah, they changed the fucking dog
Did they
petting
update?
animation so it's more realistic.
They fixed the dog petting.
What the fuck?
Oh, okay, here it is. Who actually plays the medic from the helicopter? I guess I'll post. Here's the thing: I don't really think it even matters to post about this live, but I guess I will.
It's showing my resources online and offline now.
Neat.
I have yeah. I have 150 Digitalis Lutea and Haoma online.
Digitalis. Let's see. This post is pretty big, so it keeps going. They say, yeah, a borderline, as in someone with borderline personality disorder, will always remember events in such a way as makes them look best. The sad part here is once they tell the lie, they believe it. To them, that's what's really happened. Thus, innocuous statements.
Again, it's like all women, but most especially, it's like, how can you trust anyone who can just convince themselves of a lie?
Yeah, how can you
tell others?
How can you treat that person as an actual person?
How can you let them vote? How can you actually trust this person?
We let these things vote. It's like letting us. You wouldn't let a scorpion pull the lever with its stinger tail, would you? That's what it's like when you let a woman have choice. Just shoot them in the cunt. But
Shove a grenade in them.
grenade. But those innocuous statements transform into a narrative of abuse warped by their perceptions of themselves. Example, I believe you becomes they don't believe you. It becomes no one believes you becomes no one loves you. We've seen this in
Wow, these people are fucking insane.
yes, and people and these people are getting invited to the UN to speak, to be fucking treated with respect by the fucking leaders of nations.
What the fuck?
Yes, and they have the right to vote. We've seen this in Zoe's court documents in her lawsuit with Iran and her reaction to basically everything. This is why she proclaims the ethics in games journalism meme was her meme her own side came up with to be a chant used to encourage me to kill myself in her mind, and I set up Google alerts to tell me if someone ever mentions me became they're stalking me, and my work as an adult model on alt porn websites becomes they're trying to shame me with revenge porn. The borderline's instability extends to any job, schooling, or project they start. Typically, they get fired or drop out after 3 months. In Zoe's case, she switched from nude model to stripper to video game designer, but has yet to complete a real game. Her description on her Patreon even states she has short bursts of creativity and can't stay with one project for very long. She has started and raised funds for numerous game jams, but to date has not produced any of them, and her Crash Override network, or CON for short, has never amounted to anything. To this day, the countdown timer changes to match the user's computer clock, and when the timer reaches 0, it starts over. They also proclaim a history of abuse and rape attempts to get pity, which are almost always entirely made up and meant to inspire sympathy in weak, trusting people and informed future mates on their preferred behavior, as in they prefer to be raped, I think. And then, but why do...
That is sick. They are sick.
Yes. But why do so many dudes fuck her? She's ugly as fuck. Because borderlines are extremely sexualized and promiscuous, and while in the idealization phase, builds up their targets to feel like gods, which is particularly effective on betas with low self-esteem. Essentially, they're charming, childish sociopaths who can never finish anything they start and leave a trail of destruction in their wake.
It's more like that because it's because men are fucking, they're thirsting.
Yeah, men are really gullible too, and when fucking feminists try to talk about the negative effects of the patriarchy, there is a negative effect of masculinity, and that is to fucking white knight.
That's one of the things actually that a lot of those fucking anti-feminists on Tumblr, even on fucking Tumblr, but the anti-feminists are like, men aren't really always interested in sex. It's like, yeah, actually they are. Why are we listening to women dictate what I'm supposed to feel and think about men's feelings? You don't fucking know.
You don't listen to a scorpion's advice on how to best get over the river, do you?
Shit.
Shit. Anyways, aside from that, I'm a little toasty tonight, so I'm not even,
Fucking got crisped. Motherfucking crisped.
So yeah, I don't have exactly many ideas for what to talk about. This might be just a short show. We do have plans tomorrow to do another one with Forge, because, it's pretty good. It works out pretty well. I could try and ask Cool Mod if he wants to come on, but he's still on probation as far as I'm concerned.
I don't give a shit. I don't consider him to be on probation. It's just that he's also not really online very often.
It says he's away right now, so I don't know if he's really on or not. But we were thinking of doing a podcast where we just go over the story of Metal Gear Solid, like from beginning to end, and making fun of the whole thing, which maybe I should do.
Yeah, well, I'm ready.
Let me look it up then, I guess. I have to pass though in a
There
little
was something else I
few
kind of wanted.
seconds.
There's something else I kind of wanted to fucking talk about. It wasn't MGS. Or we were talking, we were just chatting on and on about the new Steam machine.
Oh fuck yeah! I want to. Yeah, I was considering just pre-ordering because if I pre-order it right now, it'll come as soon as it's out, which is in like 1 month. And I yeah, I want that, but I also like I want to be wary, like just in case there's something wrong with the first batch of Steam controllers. I want to wait maybe a month or two because I don't really need a Steam controller just now,
But at the
even though
same
it may be
time,
the best controller in the
yeah, I'd
history of
like
video
to
games.
support them because I don't know what's going to happen. Personally, in my opinion, this is like the future of video gaming.
Future.
Is just, the ability to fucking have full motion control in a portable handheld device. Because right now you have to either have thumbsticks, which are shit, or you have to have a mouse and keyboard, which is a gigantic, cumbersome setup. It's the hardest thing to fucking really maneuver around a fucking place.
Cut, cumbersome. Yeah, that's the thing is that if you want to play one of these console ports with a mouse, sometimes it's just a fucking disaster. It would be easier to.
In this game, that was another good particular example of how Steam controller would be just a huge improvement. Is that you wouldn't have to rebind everything so that it's comfortable for your playstyle. Or in my case, since I can't rebind anything, I had to write a fucking script.
Holy shit. Okay. Here's fucking timeline of events, time periods, all that shit. It actually starts with the 13th century when it says the Chinese utilize an arrow-like device that expels gunpowder when launched, becoming the first usage of rockets in recorded history. Mongolian invasion of Europe. Then skip to the 16th century, blah blah blah. With of course fucking Columbus, blah blah blah. It's like, just like, where's the fucking... Alright, timeline of events in Metal Gear, which is really just the franchise. 1962, Sokolov defection, who was like the first guy to come up with Metal Gears, I guess, and the Cuban Missile Crisis. And then in '64 was a Virtuous mission and Operation Snake Eater, which was fucking Miggles 3, a game that was just completely unnecessary to make, because it was.
It should have been like a mission pack or
It almost, in a
fucking
way, it felt
expansion
like it,
pack.
except if I kind of with the PS2 era, because it was a big game and there was a lot of gameplay changes, but it kind of just looked like Metal Gear Solid 2 with like a fucking image pack, you know, and
And
that kind
then
of shit.
the
Just
fucking camo
dumb new
system
cutscenes. Yeah.
slapped on.
Yeah, it really was slapped on because it wasn't play tested very well. It wasn't. They didn't play test it for how well it worked in the game because it doesn't work in the game. It's a fucking disaster in the game. But it's in the game anyways, and it's really annoying to deal with. It's one of the most botched fucking game mechanics in game history, and it just doesn't work. Aside from, like, I would say the physics system in Trespasser, which is considered one of the biggest failure disasters in game history, where it started with a cool idea. Trespasser, for people who don't know, was a video game that was like an official tie-in to Jurassic Park 2: The Lost World. And in Trespasser, you're just some weird chick with fucking fat tits who trespasses onto the island, and you solve puzzles by like stacking
Yeah, it
crates
was
and
a
stuff.
female protagonist.
female protagonist, and
Although you can see her tits, so therefore it's
yes,
immediately
it was
sexism,
offensive. That's
oppressive
how, if
sexism,
yeah,
offensive.
when you look down, you see her tits, which she has like a heart tattoo on one of her fucking fun bags, which is actually how you tell how much health you have. But aside from that, you you like stack boxes and you can pick up objects and you basically control like the arm and the hand, like reaching out and twisting and the wrist and grabbing things and that kind of shit. And that's how the game works. And the game didn't really work. It was a disaster. It was fucked up. But it was one of the first games ever made that utilized a fully realized physics engine where everything in the world was supposed to have some kind of physics simulation. Basically, it was like Half-Life 2, how everything. It was like one of the first games where you could pick up any object, throw it, it would bounce off the ground, it would smack into things, it would have weight, it would have like a real world reaction as opposed to just being a trick. Where other games had like ragdolls and shit, just for like the look of it, and they wouldn't have much of effect on the world around them. Whereas opposed to if you like fired a paint can at something, like their head would bounce back and paint would splatter on them, that kind of shit. In Half-Life 2. So Half-Life 2 was like the first game to get it right, but Trespasser was like the first game to actually do it. And just like that, Metal Gear Solid 3 was, I guess, the first game. Maybe not exactly. It wasn't the first stealth game, of course, but it was the first. It was a game that introduced this camo engine, and it was also the first game to just completely botch it and get it wrong. And eventually, like, if you know how to get the Fears camo, which is one of the dumb bosses in the fucking stupid ass gay game, but you get the Fear camo, and that is just like, game. That's like the only camo you need for the rest of the game, unless you get like the stealth camo, which they made retardedly difficult to get, where you have to like shoot 64 frogs, little frog dolls, which can alert the enemy if they hear it, and that kind of stupid ass shit. But yeah, that was a lot of the dumb shit in Metal Gear Solid 3, where the fucking system was botched. Not only was the system botched, but then you couldn't control the camera, so literally an enemy could be right in front of you, and you wouldn't be able to see them. You, the player, wouldn't be able to see them or do anything about it because the camera wouldn't show it to you. Snake should be able to see them, even with only one eye, but you, the player, can't see them, so you can't do anything about it. So that was completely fucked. And they eventually fixed that with a different version of the game, which means the original version of the game is just an inferior, kind of broken piece of shit that's like unfinished. But and that's ultimately the problem of the Metal Gear Solid games, is that they are all really unfinished, half-made games where Kojima put most of the work into really bad cutscenes that are like sub Michael Bay movie quality, or like the 99 American version of Godzilla. It's basically like that. Or even the Japanese versions of Godzilla. They're shitty movies. Like Patrice said, they're shitty movies. They're not good movies. But Kojima's movies, I would say, are worse than the average Japanese movie. Like one of those Japanese gore fest movies that's just about people's limbs being ground up into fucking hamburger and shit. Like Machine Girl, or fucking, I forget some of the other ones I actually watched on Netflix. But I would say those are better written and like even better directed than fucking Hideo Kojima's horrible, execrable fucking cunt scenes that are just like embarrassingly stupid to watch, and yet Metal Gear Solid fans all watch them like they're fucking Shakespeare,
Talk
which is
about them.
embarrassing.
They discuss that they break up into little round tables and
Yes.
discuss.
It's like when Dennis Miller talked about fucking people breaking up into discussion, people in the deep south breaking up into discussion groups after watching the latest Jim Varney movie. That's how Metal Gear Solid fans are after watching the fucking story for Metal Gear Solid games. Except they're even lower than those people. How low? I can't If they're saying anything, I can't hear it because I can't hear that far to the ground. But
So low you can't hear it.
so deep it'll put your ass to sleep. But yeah, so that's pretty much what the Metal Gear Solid story is like. I mean, you can watch any of the cutscenes; they're all on YouTube if you want to see the dumbest shit ever. Or you can watch Battlefield Earth; it's pretty much on par with the Metal Gear Solid cutscenes and writing. But the gameplay themselves usually have some fun to them, but so much work is put into the cutscenes that the cutscenes themselves are actually longer than the game's content. Like Metal Gear Solid 3, I would say is Metal Gear Solid 1 or 3 are the longest game content games, and they're like 4 hours
It's
tops.
clear Kojima didn't really want to make a video game.
No, he wanted to make a fucking movie or an anime, but he made a video game anyways because he's been, I guess, making video games since the Nintendo era or some shit. Who gives a fuck? But yeah, the fucking Metal Gear games, dumb story, really, and the stories are just getting worse and worse. But the fact is that the games themselves suffer terribly from the amount of time wasted on the cutscenes, and I think that it's really bad in 3, but it's at its fucking uh absolute nadir in Metal Gear Solid 4, which I would say is the worst of the entire series by far, not even close. It's a terrible game that only has a graphical upgrade and like a couple of gameplay upgrades, which is you can actually walk while ducked. And it's aside from that, it's they add lots and lots of
Wait, in
guns.
MGS3?
In Known 4,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
yeah, in MGS4 you can walk while ducking, which is like, oh, fucking finally a crouch walk, but it doesn't add to the game, and they fuck up some of the other things that didn't need to be fucked up. Like the slow crawl is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in a fucking. It's the dumbest thing ever in a stealth game, but it's one of the dumbest things, one of the fucking stupidest things I've ever seen in a video game. Aside from in like Call of Duty Ghosts when you go into space, that's really stupid. It's on par with Metal Gear Solid 4's fucking snake crawl shit. Um, and I have played all these games and I've beaten them because the gameplay is still playable. There's a lot of weird shit and a lot of complexity to the actual gameplay in a basic sense, but Metal Gear Solid 4 fucks it up the worst because it's constantly interrupting the game with like set pieces and shit. And it's really Peace Walker that did it better because Peace Walker doesn't put any dumb shit in the way of the game. Peace Walker's like, here's a bunch of missions, and here's a gameplay system where you get to manage a base of your own private army, and that's it. It doesn't get in the way with any of the cutscene shit. In fact, the cutscenes are like the cheapest, smallest, and easiest. And then in MGS5, they're like, well, people said Peace Walker's the best game in the series. Let's just do more of that. And that's why MGS5 is really just an advancement on that. And MGS5 probably has the best gameplay of the entire series, better than Peace Walker even. So I would say MGS5, and I haven't even played MGS5. I've just seen you do some of it, but it's like the best gameplay, the tightest gameplay, the tightest controls. The most functional actual game with the most content. Instead of it being like a 2 to 4 hour game. Like I played MGS2 again just a few days ago, and seriously tops a 2 hour game. Skip all the cutscenes, it's 2 hour, beginning to end, including the tanker and the plant together. Which is really embarrassing, actually. Because it means there's really no content. It's just a bunch of weird scenes, and they put tons of work into the fucking cutscenes. Kojima refused to edit himself. It was really just embarrassing and shameful. Anyways, I need to take a break. Do you have any stuff you can add to this dumbass game series?
I could add stuff, but I'm fucking kind of exhausted, really. Fucking got drank, and then we fucking ate some more the perfect chicken breasts. Faggot. We cooked some more of those, are they like chicken tenders? aka tendies. Um, ooh, all sniper rifles built. But anyway, I fucking marinated some chicken tendies in Italian dressing for a whole day, and then cooked them for 2 fucking hours. They're fucking so fucking perfect. And then we drank a bunch of beer. I already had a headache. Approaching the beginning of the day, I started to have a headache. So, fuck, I don't know. I have a hard time talking, really. But I kind of want to talk about. There's something else that we were fucking talking about. It's like, I don't know, what was it, the Steam Machine or some shit like that? We wanted to buy the Steam Machine. Fucking set down these decoys first. I think this is the commander's fucking tank, but he's not fucking stopping. Motherfuck.
We were talking about how Steam Machine is like the most ideal system or the most ideal console or something. Because it's so perfect, because first of all it has more games than any console combined, and that's without excluding completely new release games. It has all the new games that are coming out. Most of them they're coming out on the console, with the only exceptions being Destiny and Halo, which games that are just shit. They suck. They're not good games. They're inferior.
And especially fucking Destiny and Halo, they're both first-person shooters
on
consoles.
Yeah, which is just embarrassing. It's like, what the fuck? Who gives a shit about
point
this
of that?
stupid ass
And Destiny, basically, it's just like Borderlands. It's like, I already have Borderlands, and I don't like it. It's an utterly generic.
Yeah, I played the demo for it.
Mill.
I played the demo on the PS3, and it's really boring. The graphics suck. The gameplay sucks. The whole system sucks. It's not interesting. It doesn't add anything new or fresh or exciting or interesting. It's really bland and extremely forgettable as a game. It's just dud. It's just empty. But yeah, the thing is, like, Steam Machine, or really Steam Link, well, really, you don't even need a Steam Machine. All you need is any PC, just get any tower, and you can install Steam OS on it, and then you have a Steam Machine. That's the thing. You don't need to buy a console. You don't need to pay whatever they're asking for it. You can just get fucking cheaper than that. And it's just like, there you go. It's easy. And you're done. It works. It's functional. Or you can get the Steam Link, which is, I think, what we really want to get, because that's only like $50, and it'll just stream your fucking Steam game onto a TV that will receive it, which is, just simple. Probably extremely easy to use.
The other thing is, one of the things I especially wanted to do was just buy a Steam Machine instead of buying a new fucking gaming PC. Because a new gaming PC, we bought it when we had the money. We're still paying it off because shit just keeps accruing. And I paid like $2,000 just for mine. Just for mine.
And it turned out not to even be worth it. I mean, it's worth it that we can still run first-run games.
I'm glad I have it, but it's not worth $2,000, unfortunately, because of the way it was put together. It's a fucking damn shame. Meanwhile, here's Steam Machine. All I'm playing is Steam games. I haven't touched a console in 3 years. I've not given a fuck about anything released on a fucking console in 3 fucking years. There's just nothing that's been released. Meanwhile, like, all these games are coming out on Steam, just like little games, big games, like there are a lot of fucking great portable games. And of course, they've already announced. I remember I was talking about. I was like, if I had the money, I'd start Steam Portable. I'd start manufacturing tiny little Steam portables.
Someone's working on that. Somebody is making a Steam
Yeah.
portable.
But see, that's the thing is like, I could have probably made a shit ton of money. I might still be able to because Steam lets you just craft custom builds. They actually encourage people to mod and hack their fucking games.
Yeah, well, their OS, not the games, but the OS for Steam. But also the fact that you can just slap Steam OS onto any computer and make it a fucking Steam machine. It's like, there you go. You can make your own customized Steam machine. You can update it whenever the fuck you want. Just take any basic tower, and it's just like, there you go. It works. And that I think should be the future of consoles, because there's no reason to even buy a console. What advantage does a console give you anymore? It's not fucking barely the cost. That's really it. And
It's certainly not the fucking graphics.
it's certainly not the online, because you have to fucking pay to fucking play online, which is the dumbest thing ever. You don't there's no like the latest Donkey video is fucking about how Microsoft sucks, but he also goes into how Sony fucking charges for their online. They both charge for their online. If you just play on PC, you don't have to pay an extra cent for online, which there's no point. You wouldn't get anything if you pay for online, because they don't fucking they don't manage or maintain their online features. They just break. Ugh, fuck.
Like, fuck. This will give me S Plus volunteers and Haoma and a shit ton of GMP, but it also take 8 days real time. Fucking success probability is 12%.
Holy shit.
I don't know why the fuck it's only 12%. Oh wait, assemble unit. How do I do that?
I can hear you clicking on the thing.
How do I assemble unit? What the
somebody,
fuck?
Somebody in the chat. Somebody
Oh,
actually
here we
is
go.
watching. And in the chat they say, fuck MGS5, and that Nip Iwo Kojima. That's pretty good.
Ewo.
That's not bad. But I mean, the thing about MGS5 is that it has gameplay to like, you can ignore all of the story, and it has all this gameplay. Although it stole a lot of it. Another thing it stole from was Fable. Somebody mentions, because you get a fucking playable dog or something with you. So I mean, to clock in all the games that MGS5 steals from, Skyrim, Fallout, 3 in New Vegas, especially. Far Cry 2, 3, and 4. The Fable games, like all of the Fable games. I guess Call of Duty Ghosts, but probably the whole entire Call of Duty series from fucking Modern Warfare on. Fuck, there were some others that I kind of forget. Oh, the Mercenaries games, Mercenaries 1 and Mercenaries 2. Which I wish I could still play, because I own Mercenaries 2 on fucking Origin, and I can't, it doesn't work, because in order to play even single player, you have to log on to the EA servers for Mercenaries 2, which they shut down, so that doesn't fucking work anymore, and they won't patch it.
Nice
to fucking
going,
fix that.
EA.
Yeah, EA I consider equal to fucking Blizzard, Activision, for being the worst company on the planet, but people actually give way too much credit to Blizzard, Activision, because they're like, ooh, dude, these companies are bad, I guess, but they still play World of Shit, fuck Warcraft, and they still play fucking the cock-a-doodle bullfuck games, which have been completely dumb, inferior, and retarded since fucking 3. But yeah, there's other games, other American games, Western games that Metal Gear Solid 5 rips off of just blatantly. And I can't even remember them all, because there's so many. There's more that basically all the popular ones MGS5 rips off of, but that's a good thing. If you're ripping off of the best, you're gonna make something that's actually good instead of like ripping off the best and making something that's shit, which is usually unlikely. But yeah, I want to play MGS5 a lot, but what I want to do that first is the fucking Steam controller because I want that fucking precise aim. But I also, the controller is going to add some features that I really need, and it's going to have controller support and that kind of shit. So that should make shit a lot easier. And Steam controller is going to have like the sort of macros built in. They're going to have a whole macro system and all that shit. And I want to see that work so bad because video games need that more. Video games, they need that more than ever. They need, like, the consoles are just going to be left in the dust. And the consoles have tried to keep up, but they don't really understand the significance of the Steam controller. And I don't think they ever will until it's far too late.
Yeah, they're not going to see this coming.
They're going to make, like, the next generation of consoles are going to have Steam controllers, basically. They're going to, have their rip-offs of Steam controllers, but it's just not going to fucking fit. It's not going to work. It's not going to fucking be effective. It's not going to be as good. And maybe they'll have improvements. Like, they'll have more buttons or some shit. But ultimately, who gives a fuck? Because Steam did it first and best while the fucking consoles.
Yeah, I think basically what'll happen there is that Microsoft or Sony will fucking steal the concept and then they'll be credited for developing, or maybe not credited, but they'll fucking probably reap all the benefits. Really, it's the console. It's fucking Sony and Microsoft's game to lose.
Yeah,
as far as that shit's concerned.
And it was actually very smart. You have to give a lot of credit to fucking Kojima. Probably the credit really goes to Konami for releasing MGS5 on the PC. Because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be playing it until the game was like fucking. Here's the thing: they're not going to price drop it on the console for like 2 or 3 years. They'll be price dropping it on the PC by fucking in the next couple of months. If maybe price drop as in fucking put it on sale, which is pretty much the same thing. Once it goes on sale on Steam, you can get it for even $10 off. I mean, the shit, that's fucking less than you get on the fucking dumbass fuck consoles. Also Metal Gear Rising, which, is price dropped, and I am going to eventually buy it. But it looks pretty dumb and fucking just, it doesn't make any sense. The fucking fight system doesn't really work. It's just a fucking disaster. But if I when it goes on sale or something, just like whatever. You own it. Fucking, did you not play it yet? Did you not finish it, or did you
finish what?
Fucking Revengeance.
I haven't even loaded it up once.
Holy shit.
I just have no interest. I'm actually doing a single player FOB mission.
Well, shit.
They just added these in like a patch.
I didn't know you could do that. Yeah, they just patched MGS5 tonight and added free content, which is something that they got from Valve. They ripped that off from Valve. Because only Valve really fucking started doing that. In fact, again, like that Donkey video mentioned, is that Valve tried to do that for fucking Left 4 Dead 1, where they were releasing, was it The Sacrifice? No, it was Crash Course. They were releasing Crash Course for free. And they released it for free on the PC, but on the consoles, they had to charge money because Xbox refused to let them release it for free because they're like, oh, this will create a dangerous precedent where other fucking companies release content for free that we could charge money for and fucking take a big chunk out of. So it's like, I want the Steam controller in my fucking hands, though. I want to feel it in my fucking hands. Because first of all, 2 shoulder buttons and then a 3rd shoulder button. Just going to be like everything gamers need, period. Period.
Well, it'll be third shoulder buttons for each finger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they actually will fit and they'll conform to the actual natural hand grip of an actual human hand. Um, Steam Link, I really, really fucking want. And just fucking, and then they have all these Steam machines that are like, the Alienware Steam machine, and then here's a Cyber Steam machine. They're basically like consoles, and you just plug in a USB fucking thing to them, and all that fucking easy basic shit. But you don't even need to buy an Alienware Steam machine. You could just hook up your average fucking PC to it, to a fucking
Yeah, that's what I figure
TV.
we're gonna do first next. Is
Well, we'll get
just
probably
buy a
Steam
Steam
Link.
Link.
Yeah, just get a Steam Link. I mean, that's gonna be fucking nice and easy, and I like that. And that's gonna be it. You can buy, and all the games that are coming out on the consoles, you'll be able to just play them on Steam Link. First of all, easier, better graphics. It will have just every feature that every one of the fucking consoles with the online features and all that stupid ass shit. The only difference is that it won't have that built-in like fraps that fucking the PS4 has, which you don't need. You can just fucking go download and install fraps and fucking install that to YouTube or something. And I think Steam is actually adding features like that, or some shit like that, because they got like the Half-Life 2 movie maker or the Source movie maker and that kind of shit. We could just make movies on Source. People have done it, and you can see like the guy he fucking died of leukemia a year ago, but he was making movies in Source. Fucking Kitty 0705, I think.
Oh yeah.
Or 706. But if you look up his videos, he made some really excellent movies in fucking the Source filmmaker shit. And that was excellent. And you can just fucking make a fucking movie if you got the skills for that. And it looks pretty easy. It just, would take a lot of work and tweaking to like pose the bodies and that kind of goofy ass shit. But still, it's like fucking, there you go. You can make it like a fucking 3D movie, and I think it has more effects and shit than the usual game rendering, so it's got like better visuals than Source game even. But it's like fucking look at all these features that you're not going to get on any console. If you want to get them on console, you have to like mod chip them to basically jailbreak them, which is completely illegal, voids the warranty, all this stupid ass shit. But to be honest, when I think about it, it's like, why would you play a console without doing that? Because what if let's say on the consoles they release a game for $60 that's worth $5 and doesn't really fucking work, which they do all the time. On Steam, they may fucking still full price it, but the price will drop in months if it's really a piece of shit, or they'll take it off. But then they'll put it on sale for like $2 or something, and what it's actually worth paying for, and then maybe you could squeeze some fun out of it. Or you can just fucking like pirate it, or you can fucking I have my fucking Nintendo and Super Nintendo emulators just hooked up to load through Steam. So if I want to play every Nintendo game ever made, or every Super Nintendo game ever made, I can just load them up through Steam.
And you'll be able to put that on the fucking Steam box.
Yeah, I could put that on Steam box, or fucking through Steam Link, just fucking, and control that through the fucking Steam controller. Just sit there in a giant comfy chair or something. I want to get a giant comfy chair for that kind of shit. Eventually, that's one plan, but that's way in the future or something. Speaking of plans in the future, I did shut down the Patreon. People dumped out way before. Like, I only got like $8 from the last month of the Patreon, because I think people dumped out just before the new month kicked in. But I shut down the Patreon, and so yeah, we're not gonna take any more money from the Patreon because the blog is gone. When people have been posting a bunch of our archive posts, like screenshotted posts, that kind of shit, through to our 8chan board, and I have to admit, I forgot how good our blog was. It was like so good. Like just a bunch of the posts, very red sunglasses, of course, because I mean, shit, we invented it. You're all just swimming in our wake, but on
It's
top of
also
that,
really obvious if you fucking check out the
yes.
other shit other people have been posting. It's just like, man, why do they bother?
Yeah, well, like people are still like trying to struggle with the awareness that we maintain on a casual, offhanded daily basis without barely even trying. But it's just like the stuff I post about Islam and fucking Miss Marvel and that kind of shit.
And people thought that was like, oh, you're driving
Yeah,
away your people.
exactly. But
What are you
they
doing?
because they couldn't see the future, they couldn't see the necessity, and now that our blog's gone, they're like, oh shit, these guys were completely right all this time. We had no idea. It's like, yeah, you didn't have any idea, motherfuckers.
They finally turn off the fucking alarm so I can go and finish this mission.
They turn off the alarm so you can finish the mission as the rest of the world hits the snooze button on the wake up call that was 9/11. Speaking of which, I don't know if you still haven't read the new Pigman, have you?
No.
Because I mean, the temptation to savor it like a fine wine is great. I understand that.
Well, I'm definitely gonna have more time. Basically, I'm almost done with
Yeah,
this game.
you should read it. You should read it. I have Pigman 1, 2, and 3 on my fucking Comixology account. Fucking really good comics. I'm surprised because usually when someone like Holy Terror, it was Frank Miller's trashing of Islam and shit, and it was really kind of tepid and mundane. It wasn't a good trashing of Islam. It was more like a watered down superhero comic where they fight terrorists, and it could be any like literally you could just take them and replace the fucking terrorists with like Christian terrorists. It would be about the same except for like a couple minor details. But aside from that, it's like it's just not very effective. But that's for Holy Terror. It's still a good comic, and especially in a few very specific ways. And I think I reviewed the comic, and that probably never got archived, and that's long gone. And fucking, I don't really give a shit even. But
But again, our reviews are better than everyone else's.
yes,
People
no
just-
one else had the insight. They weren't even capable of it. They just couldn't do it. But
They're either
Pigman-
fucking fanboys of his, or they immediately treat him. I know that fucking what's his face, fucking cuck, basically treats fucking whatever the guy's name is, like he's pure evil because he's
I mean,
sexist, misogynist.
Frank Miller against Dick Grasper, Dave Willis, the biggest.
Linkara.
Yeah, and Linkara. Well, they're pretty
Linkara
much
is
the
like,
same
"Oh,
person.
Vicky,
They're both fucking
so
fat,
sexist.
white cucks, white
White.
niggas. The fucking milk toast, white guilt, pieces of human garbage. But Pigman is like that comic done right. It's about Islam completely. Like you can't replace it with anything. It's all about Islam, and it's very funny actually. It's got a really good sense of humor to it. But it
Yeah,
also
it's
has
about the story's about an apostate, I think.
yeah.
Or rather, is a guy who was fucking raised by Islam, so naturally he's expected to be Islamic, and he isn't. Therefore, he's evil. The devil.
Yes, and
Fucking-
that's like the author basically is, and that's what they say is like, ooh, self-insert comics. But when it comes to that, it's insightful and it's necessary. It's one of the most necessary comic books ever made, especially in this era where all the other comics are fucking interested in white knighting for Islam and apologizing for terrorist murderers, and then trying to make like white Americans as the most dangerous threat in the country, and like guns are the most dangerous fucking thing in the world, and don't you understand that guns are the worst? And just, that kind of simple, basic,
Simpin'
white,
ass.
simpin' ass niggas. But yeah, that's just the reality of that shit. Um, and Pigman is actually very nuanced too. It's not blunt. There are some blunt parts, but it's just overt in saying what it has to say, as opposed to like pussyfooting around it. Um, I would say it comes off as kind of a conservative view, so in that way, it's a blunt. But he does actually, even in the new one, even in the third one, he like will slam Bill O'Reilly as still being a cuck to religious faith, which includes Islam, which is one of the biggest failings of the cuck conservatives, is that they will still fucking bend over for Islam, just like they'll bend over for feminism. Man up and marry these
It's
sluts.
technically true of Bush. He is a huge fucking
Yeah,
friend of the Saudi royal family because they're all oil ticks.
yeah, the same way that Obama did, but fucking yeah,
Well,
Bush
Bush did
would
it.
say,
Bush did it because it's a business partnership. Obama
well,
does it
also
because
because
he's
of
kowtowing to fucking radical
terrorists.
Islam, terrorism, anti-Americans in
But
general.
Bush also like the Danish Muhammad cartoons. Bush would like condemned them completely. Instead of just saying nothing about them, which is what he should have done, but he condemned them because they were an attack on religious faith, which Bush is like, oh, religious faith is good. He thinks, like a lot of conservatives think, that it's better to have any religion, even Islam, than no religion at all, which means that conservatives are part of the enemy.
Yeah, they're implicit and inherently brainwashing.
Yeah, they're not in favor of freedom. They'll act like hey, we support freedom of speech that these liberals are trying to fucking
Yeah, it's freedom of
undermine.
religion.
Yes, but what they really want is their religious doctrine to fucking override all others, just like Islam wants. It doesn't matter if it's not the same. It doesn't matter if like people say, "Well, Christians aren't as dangerous as Muslims," which hey, that is true in America, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's true worldwide or historically, or that it can't come true again in America. Fucking Christian terrorists could take over. It doesn't mean that they are. They haven't right now, but they certainly could.
And really, the key goal here is to get us away from like dogma. Unfortunately, it
Yeah,
seems
because
like
one
people
dog
in
or another.
general, even a lot of fucking atheists, basically treat famous atheists as if they were gods. They
Yeah.
worship these people.
Well, that's where atheism plus comes from. It's just that they replaced one dogmatic religion, one dogmatic belief for another. They replaced fucking Christianity or Islam with fucking social justice or feminism, which are equally dogmatic beliefs, equally as harmful. It's just the same when people are like, well, Christianity makes people behave better. That's exactly what people say about feminism. That makes people behave better.
When it really doesn't. You can
No, it
see all
doesn't.
the
It makes people
evils.
it makes people not only behave worse, but it completely retards society as a whole. Christianity has done that. Feminism has done that. Social justice has done that. Cultural Marxism, socialism, liberalism, fucking communism, even conservatism, and fucking Islam. All that
Cultural
shit.
mendacity.
Yes, I guess it's you could call it mendacity, but it's on a cultural scale. But yeah, but even that, and like even that kind of knowledge is something that Pigman, as good as a comic as Pigman is, it doesn't really get into that. It doesn't. I guess that's gonna be up to us.
We gotta take control.
Yes. Just like a great
If
man
it's up
once
to
said.
us, we gotta take control.
Yes, got to take control. A great man once said, "If you want something done, you gotta do it yourself." Ow.
One of the greatest, most brilliant genius
Greatest
poets.
minds.
A poet genius.
A street poet of the greatest era, and that man's name was Bobby Brown. I still really love, like, My Prerogative, Don't Be Cruel, fucking great songs.
Don't Be Cruel is one of my favorite songs of all time.
All time, better than any Kanye West song. Fucking not even close.
Yeah, of course. Well, Kanye West. Who the fuck is that?
Yucca.
Yucca. I remember, like, MGS3 was the first game where you could actually shoot down helicopters. That was fucking astounding, especially after, like, I think that was after Halo came out, too, where you could not shoot down the dropships.
Oh, yeah, which was really annoying because it's like they almost hinted at it that you maybe could, but you couldn't. But well, yeah, wait, what was it that you could shoot down the helicopters in MGS3 or 4?
It was in 3. They introduced the Hind helicopters.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, those were very rare though, which was it was still okay because they gave you fucking rocket launchers and shit. So it's like what?
What? Yeah, there was AA guns too, and I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. I never expected to be able to do this in a fucking
emplacement AA guns, and then even better is in MGS5 when you can fucking Fulton them. And the Fulton system is retarded, ridiculous, but at least it like functions and has a purpose.
You couldn't Fulton helicopters you can't Fulton helicopters in this. Okay, the fucking doors are open, and I don't know where the fuck the commander's supposed to be. I really don't want to have to Google this shit.
Fulton.
Okay, he just says just found a guy.
And you know what? That's the funny thing is that I can just fucking brush off all the shit in Miggles 5 that just is retarded. Like the Fulton system's retarded, the black hole system even more retarded. But I can just brush that off as like video game stuff. Like video games. The story stuff is like, whatever. It's just like the world as it is. It's just a video game, so I don't have to take that seriously. But it's the fucking Miggles fans that take it that seriously, and then they fucking get all butt frustrated, and they have a whinge about it. If you even criticize the story correctly, which to criticize, it's like you can't criticize the Metal Gear story without doing it correctly. Any criticism of the game story is always going to be correct, no matter even if it's wrong, because we always tell the truth, even when we lie.
Even when I lie.
Someone says, have you seen Sam Hyde's new stand-up? I don't even know who that is.
Who's that?
He takes a shit on libtards, and Mud Slimes was wondering if you were secretly him, but it seems like you took SWC more seriously than he does. What?
Does he know about SWC?
I have
Does he know about our blog?
idea.
What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know. I have no idea. All I have to assume is no.
No.
In the related videos, the first one is Star Wars Commander Empire Part 60, The Sickness 1 through 6, SWC Empire gameplay.
Oh, that would be Star Wars
Commander.
Is that what SWC is supposed to stand for?
Oh, they say they've had to correct themselves. It seems you took SWC more seriously than he does his stand-up. That's what this guy meant.
Oh.
We worked pretty hard on shitty webcomics, but to be honest, we worked hard on shitty webcomics because we were just using it to say what we had to say normally, which no one else on the planet was capable of saying or capable of perceiving. We have a perception of 11 where everyone else is stuck at like 4.
Not even 4. No.
Yeah, like 2.
4 is our followers.
Yeah, 4 is our followers. 2 is 1 to 2 or 0 is the rest of the human race, and we're at 11. With a max is 10.
0 is Jews.
Seduce. Actually, I would say the Seduce are more like -5.
Negative 11.
Yes. Because they have the opposite of perception. They have obfuscation of themselves.
Deception.
Yes. If you're only good at one thing, who knows what the fuck that is? Oh, I know. Deception. Which is great. I fucking, like, I guess I didn't really introduce that to Forge, but maybe I reintroduced it to Forge of the, one of the greatest things in the history of the human race is the Mel Gibson phone calls he made to his cunt Russian, like his Russian mail order bride wife, who he was married to some fucking chick from Hollywood for a good 20 years. And they busted it off because he met this Russian whore that sucked his dick like nobody ever could.
Sucked a recording studio out of him.
Yes, exactly. And after like 2 years, like, you know, she was gaming him just completely without even a fucking
Kind of like gaming the system.
batting an eye. And he figured it out, and he lost his shit because he's like a strict Catholic. So he believes in all that stupid shit. Like, he's like Gavin McInnes before the divorce, or after the divorce. So, like, Gavin McInnes doesn't have any clue what's coming for him. What's coming for him is what Mel Gibson went through. Mel Gibson hit it hard at like late 50, like, you know, in his 50s. Fucking Gavin McInnes is gonna hit it pretty soon, like maybe, you know, 10 years from now or something like that. And he's gonna be in for a rude awakening, and, you know, it's gonna be pretty obvious to all the rest of us who have swallowed the red sunglasses from They Live. But, you know, for the rest of them, especially for conservatives who are like at a 1 of perception, they have no clue what's coming for them because they expect their traditional values and their fucking religious views and their religious values to do all the thinking for them and to do all the functioning for them. So when the divorce comes, when the reverse rape comes and takes them for more than half of what they're worth, they are going to turn into Mel Gibson from those fucking tapes. And we're all going to have a good long laugh at their expense over it. And we're going to,
if they recover as well as Mel Gibson did.
Yes, which, you know, hey, not going to happen. But it's like that one thing you reblogged a long time ago, I think, was why hold your hand over a fire, over a stove to realize that fire's hot when you can watch older men continue to hold their arms over a burning flame and scream in agony. Which is, you know, what the conservative movement is there for. To watch them just be tortured by their traditional values and watch it destroy their lives, watch them commit suicide, watch them fall from grace, watch them discard their religion like garbage once they have that awakening, which everyone else needs that fucking life-ruining event to realize, but us, me and you, we fucking realized it when we were like 11 without any life-ruining events. We just learned it through simple observation of human nature.
But we also had our lives ruined.
Yeah, well, but that was like almost incidental. But still, we were
as a
still
result of other circumstances.
Yes, there's just other circumstances. But we never had a relationship or got married because we never wanted one because we watched all the other older men hold their hands over the fire and scream in agony for years and years. And we said, wow, why did they do that? Don't they know that that's going to destroy their lives? And they don't know they're going to destroy their lives because, hey, Jesus said it's not going to destroy their lives. Fucking religion.
And that's the only thing nobody needs any other fucking kind of knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need any other knowledge except what's in the Bible or what's in religion, what religion teaches. So fucking all they learn is the sanctity of marriage and what that will eventually destroy their lives. And we were like, nope, that's fucking horseshit. That I mean, fuck. You don't even need to see through. You don't need to be woke to even fucking realize that obvious shit. So yeah, we just knew it naturally when we were really young, and now we're fucking old, and it's just the amount more that we've learned would boggle your mind. But it's so simple. It's like fucking in Tommy, again, which my werewolf OC is named after. If we told you what it would take to reach the highest high, you would laugh and say nothing's that simple.
You would chuckle derisively to
Yes,
self.
to self. You would loll to self derisively and say, "Huh, that can't be true," as because you're going on knowledge based on either your religion or your traditional values from the right wing, or you're going from your fucking your college professor, your fucking critical theory, your supposed wokeness of seeing through the corporate bullshit man into just a new form of bullshit if you're on the left. So either way, whichever way you've gone, you're just buying into a new form of bullshit or an old form of bullshit. Whichever one it is, it's just another form of bullshit. But you're fucking putting yourself back to sleep and then declaring yourself woke. So you have failed in both, in either way that you go. You have to discover what we've discovered, which is to discard all of the above, even the supposed discarding of the fucking traditional knowledge. You have to realize that the traditional raw knowledge is not actually all incorrect either. You have to discover it for yourself what parts are right or wrong. Um. Anyways, I need to get myself another burra. I don't know if is there something else we should go into about before we wrap up.
Fucking, I don't know. Honestly, I feel like total shit.
I've had 3 beers. I'm probably gonna fucking wake up feeling like a car hit me tomorrow. But I want one more burra and go for a walk. But man, I used to get so drunk that I couldn't even walk, and I'd be like, "I'm gonna go for a walk." I would have to go for a walk to keep myself from getting sick. And now it's like, I have 2 or 3 beers, and it's like, ugh, I'm done for the day. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting that old. We can wrap up, though. I mean, this is a good, hour and a half or something. I don't know. I think it was about an hour. But, that's fine. We have plans to do another one tomorrow, and hey, that should be good. This should be good. This is Jimmy. Yeah, so, let's wrap up, I guess. We can shut off the show.
Yeah.
And just wait for it to process and post it to the Shaddy Webcam Ox.
Yeah, it'll probably process fast.
Which is good. I mean, hey, another hour that we provide fucking wondrous, wondrous content of us fucking blithering, for which goes to at least 2 great artists. 2 great artists who are fucking fantastic artists.
They and get one a lot of particularly faggy artist.
Yes.
Faggy little sweeb.
Swede weeb. But yes, fucking Clumsor and Forge they just love listening to our podcast.
Oh, and Pleb.
I don't know how much Pleb listens to our actual podcast. Although, if she does or doesn't, I know that she loves our podcast. Our podcasts are great.
She loves our blog.
Yes.
I feel sick.
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm sleeping.
I'm shutting down.
So yeah, we'll wrap up. Good show.